What is up, everybody? Welcome to our coaching series here. I'm Alex, back again with Brian, aka Half Pump, on Twitch and Twitter. We're trying to get Brian to Mythic this month, and you can join us for the ride. Brian, how you doing? Welcome back.
I'm doing good. We're post holiday season, so I feel like you could push me over, and I would just keep rolling. But lots of food and family time. But it's good to be back in the seat.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Definitely lots of overeating in the past few days, but now we're sitting and we can just talk about some Magic. And before we got into the call, you were saying that you feel like you plateaued a little bit on the limited journey. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's been a rough go. In the last week, I've been flown around like 2 to 3 wins with even I think 103, and maybe on like the eighth day there was another 03
Mm-hmm.
in there. So I've been slowly sliding backwards. I think I've peaked out at Platinum 2 with like 2 or 3 pips, and then have slid all the way back down to Plat 4 with 2 or 3 pips. Just those two win games over and over again, and then the only saving grace I'm getting is like a 3-3. Yeah, it's been a little rough sliding backwards there. I think we talked a little bit about some of the areas where I think there's some issues
Mm-hmm.
in the overall draft experience. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a rough go, but we're staying positive, and we're gonna see what we can do here.
Yeah, one of the things about Magic improvement I find, or honestly, most things, is that it's not linear, right? Like, you're moving forward, you're going to take a step back or two, but, correct plays, good mentality, all that stuff, keep it proper. You'll move forward eventually. And we were also saying before the call that, I was kind of saying, like, oh, yeah, do you feel like there's any kind of through lines between your drafts of things that have not gone so well? We kind of settled on it's mostly gameplay. But would you agree
Yep.
with that?
Yeah, I think it's mostly gameplay. We're getting pretty good at finding, the primary open color.
Mm-hmm.
That secondary open color, I would say, about 60% of the time, I'm finding a pretty solid secondary color that seems pretty open. That extra 30-40% where I'm missing, I think I kind of get shudders a little bit. I'm like, okay, I got my 2 colors, and I stay in those,
Yep.
and I don't really open myself up to maybe pivot as late as like midway through pack 2 in that secondary color. So that's probably a little weakness in the actual drafting, but mostly in the gameplay, it's a completely different mindset than constructed, which is where my strength is. Mythic constructed, RC qualifier in constructive for modern. Like I've got a little bit of a resume
Yeah,
over in
yeah.
constructed, but like over in limited, I'm like, the gameplay is different, the way you think about it, the value exchanges, the efficiency plays,
Mm-hmm.
like how you play around what they may or may not have is all just a completely different mindset shift that
Yep.
I think I'm struggling still a little bit to click into correctly, and break some bad habits, and overall is like you said, I think it is the area where I'm struggling.
Yeah, and one thing that I really want to highlight, because this is across the board for most people I coach, is that when people come to me and they go like, what do you think I need to improve on? I look at their game logs, their draft logs, that stuff. I would say 80% of the time, it's gameplay. All right, I
Yeah.
think generally people underestimate just how important gameplay is to being a good drafter. And just like I was saying about improvement in general. Gameplay is the same thing. It's not going to be linear. You're going to feel like, oh, I got the hang of this, and then try to apply it, and you're like, oh, I slightly misapplied it. Let me try that again. And I think really it just comes down to like reps, guided reps. That's why we're here. Reps with
Yep.
the right guide rails. But the more just info you can feed your brain on, yes, I've been in this situation before, as you know from constructed, the more it gets easier, and from there you start to go up after you reached a certain point. I feel there's like a breaking point that tends to happen, or like, oh, I now all these concepts are connecting together, and I think you're well on the way to getting there.
Yeah, I definitely feel that because I can feel, I can hear your words in my head when I'm like
Yeah.
playing, and I'm like, okay, I should do this. But I think you nailed it. I was like, I tried, but I did it like a little wrong.
Mm,
Like, so like that's something I'm like, okay, I know this is how I'm supposed to do this, or how this exchange is supposed to occur, and then I try to apply it, and I'm like, oh, I did it slightly wrong, and then you get blown out, and you're like, ah, all right, okay. So yeah, it's definitely reps. And speaking of reps, this will actually be the 29th draft in my 31 drafts for December. So
nice.
we're getting those reps in, and trying to get better as we move through it.
Yeah, so for today, just like we did last week, if you watched last week's video, we're gonna do a draft. We're gonna go through the gameplay. I think, Foundations has been out for almost 2 months at this point, so the draft, I assume there's gonna be fairly few disagreements. Of course, I'll give some guidelines or some points in the right direction. If there are some disagreements, we'll talk about through some draft things. But I do think really today, let's really focus on gameplay. Let's really make sure that you're taking some heavy hitting points to take home, and of course everybody out there as well watching along, you can do the same. And I just want to shout out the comment section for these videos. The comment sections for these videos have been really great. People just like giving a lot of advice, a lot of tips. I can only say so much without taking up all of the airtime in this two people conversation. I could write down many pages of like, oh, on this term you can consider this. I don't have to do that though, because the comment section has been great for that. So I just want to say thank you everybody in the comment section for giving real detailed analysis of all the stuff we've been doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. It really kind of rounds that out. I have folks almost apologize to me for so much. I'm like, no, listen, like I'm taking in all of this information. I know I'm not perfect. I'm literally just out here struggling and putting it on a public platform and hoping that folks can reduce their learning curve by watching me take all the bumps and bruises. And I'm okay with that. That's what I'm here for, and I love it. So I digest all of that, and I'm like, okay, really interesting ways. I like this rule of thumb, like all of these different things that come up.
Awesome. Well, why don't we just jump into the draft and see what we get?
All right, let's go ahead and do this.
And as we do that, I'm just gonna fix my cam just quickly. Oh, you can't even see it. Sorry. But yeah. All right, we're good.
So definitely the thing that I want to kind of keep a lookout on for is that, like I said, that secondary color. I know you said we probably won't have much commentary on the draft itself, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that's going to be one area is kind of keeping that open mindset of, what else is open. Like I said, I could pretty accurately get into a good primary color and establish my lane, but then when we get into that secondary color, I'm pretty good at finding it, but still struggling a lot of times to really identify like, hey, this is actually open, or hey, you grabbed red but white is actually open, so maybe we should switch from red to white.
Totally. And
um
one thing I'll say just quickly on that is that I think the most important part is finding a primary color. Secondary color matters too. You want to be in one of the more open colors or something that complements your first color, but you're like 80% of the way there just getting your primary color. So we'll definitely fine tune, but you're in a good place for that.
all right, so we got a pretty strong first pack here. A Spinner of Souls, Mossbone Hydra, both really good rares in green. Spinner of Souls does some absolute work. I actually had a draft of Spinner of Souls and was not really taking advantage of its ability.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you actually take advantage of its ability, it's super strong. Some other ones to consider, maybe Duel is the Good Fortune Unicorn, but it's a gold card, so I don't usually like to take a gold card first pick if I don't have to. And then, like I said, Mossborn Hydra also can get out of hand if we go into a counter strategy. So without forcing ourselves into a color or a strategy, I think Spinner of Souls is probably the best pick here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly, while I have a few seconds here, some people in the last video wanted to know what are the numbers on Brian's screen. He's using the untapped.gg overlay, I believe, Draftsmith, and they
Yep.
kind of just like give you some guidelines, points in the right direction. And yeah, definitely a great spinner. By the way, spinner is excellent. One, I think the best green card in the set. Maybe there's one more that's better that I'm not remembering, but love starting there. Great.
Yep. Super good, especially if you can take advantage of the ability there. Some good options here. Sarah Angel, Spectral Sailor is really good for card draw. Might get us into a good secondary color. Blue does tend to synergize well with green. Outside of that, another strong one we could consider. I do like some of these commons, the
Mm-hmm.
Lenoir Elves and the Treetop Snare Spinner. Treetop Snare Spinner, I think, has been overperforming in a lot of cases just because it's a good mana dump. You put 1/1 counters on anything, and then the Death Touch and Reach as a 1/4 is really good as well. So I would be kind of in those four: Sarah, Spectral, Lenoir, or Treetop.
Yeah, I think we can kind of knock out Snare Spinner from the conversation because Elves is better if we're just going to take a green card. I think I would take Elves too after taking a really good green rare and, a 3-drop too. Going 1 to 3 is nice. Spectral Sailor, I wouldn't fault anybody if they wants to take that too, though. That's also a pretty good pick. And the 2/2, 2/2 prowess. Red green's a pretty good deck. So yeah, any of
Yep.
those would be fine.
Yep. Uh, Here, same thing. This is a really solid green card.
Hmm.
Another one to consider is potentially Wary Thespian. You get the Surveil trigger. It's a 3/1, so like it's punching above its weight class. You don't really care if it dies because it has a die effect as well. So um, in the case of a split decision, I think the good rule is the go over the cheaper one. So Mild Mannered Librarian is probably where I'm going to gravitate towards.
Yeah, I think Librarian is a good notch stronger. And one thing with my green decks in this format, since Llanowar Elves, a powerful card, you want to take that card, you want to draft that card, but you also need to make sure that you're doing something with the mana and they're not just 1/1s. So a mana sink like Librarian, exactly what we want to pair with Elves. So looks great.
Perfect. All
All
righty.
right.
Now we can grab the treetop snare spinner.
Yeah, we got double ambush wolf here as well. Something that a card I've actually liked more than I would have expected to. Not something I'm too shy about playing in my deck with a few elves.
Yeah, definitely. So I do like ambush. You know, being able to flash in, punch above its weight class. It can get rid of like threshold if that's a thing, or you know, and if you're in like a resurrection deck or something like that. But would you take snare spinner over ambush wolf?
Yeah, I think so, but I also would just take Meteor Golem here, I think. Odd that the untapped rating is so low on Meteor Golem. I actually like Meteor Golem a decent amount, especially in these green decks. But it's a good expensive card. Like, I think your green decks are looking for good expensive cards. I do like Snare Spinner. I think it's a good place to put your mana, but I think we can probably pick up one at some point in the future. Meteor Golem is a bit more unique of an effect, especially because sometimes your green removal isn't as good as you'd like it to be, right? Just having this like catch all is pretty nice, even if it's a bit expensive.
Awesome. I mean, the fact that Dragon Trainer is available so late, I think is a signal um, that we should pay attention to. So potentially red is open. Uh, Other ones to consider is probably the Wildwood Scourge, especially if we're putting 1/1 counters on things. Cackling Prowler, I think, is good too, but probably the worst pick here. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'd probably go Dragon Trainer.
No, I agree. I think this is just the best card in the pack by far. I don't think Scourge is very good unless you're like all in on counters. So yeah, just take a card that's not currently in our colors, but like I mentioned, I do like red green specifically. So if I'm gonna take, we're deciding secondary colors here, right? If we're gonna be green base, I do like pairing my green cards with my red cards. I think that one of the best things to do if you're green in this format is be like a green beatdown deck. It's one of my more favorite things to do.
Absolutely. I think getting a late green removal is awesome.
Yeah,
So
great. Bait down 6 pick. I mean, nothing in this pack is exciting otherwise. This is like the best card in the pack, so happy to take that. And another thing, I just caught all of the the untapped GG ratings here. Do you have to be careful about them sometimes? Because Reclamation Sage is a card that I wouldn't recommend putting in your main deck. There's just not enough enchantment, artifact removal. Are not enough enchantment or artifact spells in the set to really feel comfortable with that. Good sideboard card, but I'm surprised that it's so high there.
yeah, I think it's just because it's noticing a bunch of the green cards in my deck,
Totally.
and so that's where it's going. I would grab Bushwhack here because
Mhm.
it can be a removal, plus it's more ramp. Um, if you're struggling to get lands, the Gnarled Colony is also good too because of the 1/1 counters kind of effect that we have going on. But and then anything that has a 1/1 counter on it also gets Trample, and Trample's kind of rare in this set. But overall, I think I would take Bushwhack here.
Yeah, I think it's just a stronger card in general. Opens up our options of, maybe we splash something, but even if we don't, it just makes our mana better. So yeah, love it.
Perfect. All right. Next up here, Beastkin Ranger.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
Two,
no,
3 for 3.
totally. No, that's really exciting to see here. 8th pick, like it's a rock solid common, one of Green's more desirable ones, and yeah, just once again, we're kind of seeing green be one of the more open colors as every pack. There's been like not anything too exciting. There has been a solid green card.
Yep. Nothing crazy here. I mean, Rallier is the best card
Mm-hmm.
here, but we're not really in it that yet. But we can keep ourselves open because we've really only grabbed Dragon Trainer. So
Absolutely. Yeah, this is, the best card once again. We're not going to shy away from it.
now this becomes interesting because Incinerating Blast, I think, is a nice pinch hitter for removal. Um,
Yeah, it's
and
interesting. Oh,
out
sorry,
of
sorry,
what
go
we're
ahead.
seeing here, I would say Incinerating Blast.
Yeah, I like that too. Like this wheeling is not like, oh my god, like considering blast so good, awesome, but it is a red card, like a playable red card that came back around. So, could just hint that not too many other people are on red. I know, reading the table here, it's not clear that anything is open except green, to be honest. So I think as we're trying to find that secondary color, we'll just kind of feel things out.
Yeah. Let's grab another Squad Rallier
Yep.
because again, best card there, and we got
Oh,
both
nice.
those
Both.
ambushable. So yep, green's open.
Somebody did take the spider though, so somebody took a green card. But nice
All
to
right,
get both these wolves back.
yeah, we'll take the wolf and a cackling
Yeah,
prowler.
sure, we might play that card.
All right, pack 2, pick 1. Okay, so not a whole lot of super exciting stuff. Battlesong Berserker is the strongest card here. Yes, I
Yeah,
think.
definitely.
Battlesong Berserker is, and then second to that though, for our own synergies, Bushwhack is another one that we could consider for removal.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably honestly just take the strong card.
Yep, absolutely. Like it's really, really hard to go wrong just taking the strongest card in the pack when you have,
Yeah.
if you're like all 5 colors and you're like, I'm scrambling, I'm not sure what to do. But when you're so sleek and lean with the green like we are here, yeah, it's hard to go wrong just being like, yeah, I'll just take a good card. And especially if you already have, some red cards.
Yep, definitely. Something that we want to start really kind of considering is if it's a coin flip on 2 cards, is trying to fill out some of that removal.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, this is an
Okay.
interesting pick. Okay.
Okay. I have not seen this card.
Yeah, take a read.
During each of your turns, you may play a land and cast a permanent spell of each permanent type from your graveyard.
It's a pretty nice top end card, though it is 2 colors that we currently aren't, and there are other options in the pack that I think are reasonable.
Yeah, so Garruk's is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Great card draw engine. Then we do have 2 strong commons as well, Wary Thespian and the Treetop Snare Spinner. I would probably take the Treetop Snare Spinner over the Thespian, but I think Garruk's is probably where we're at because we do have a lot of things with 4 or greater.
Yeah, we don't have like a ton yet, but we can kind of move our draft towards that direction. Just draft with Garrick's Uprising Mind. So I think this is the higher upside pick. Snare Spinner is kind of the safer pick, but I like taking Uprising here. I think it's a pretty good card, especially in red green.
Yeah, and it's actually one colorless cheaper. So
Yeah,
yeah.
cheaper. That's
Coin
another
flip,
thing
a
too.
little cheaper.
If we look at our curve could stand to come down. I think a little bit. We've got quite a few 3s and 4s.
So with that in mind, Eager Truffle Snout is actually good.
Great.
So
Yeah, it's perfect, right? Just like exactly what we want. It's a cheapish card. We got Uprising.
yep, at 4/2. Yep. Felling Blow. Okay,
Man.
so this is really interesting.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Burst Lightning is really good
Uh-huh.
for removal, but Felling Blow is also performing super good. So it's giving out a counter and then makes it's not a fight, it's a bite. So
Yeah. This is a tough pick. Like my intuition doesn't say like, oh, you should clearly take this. It kind of says, well, let's look at some factors at play. One, we want a lower curve, and Burst
Yeah.
Lightning does that. 2, Felling Blow is just like really strong. Like just the ability to go put a counter on, get a thing out of the way, punch something. This is really coming down to the wire. My tiebreaker here is just cheaper card, but I think either one would be good. And also Llanowar Elves in the pack too. Like that's rivaling it as well. Really,
Yeah.
really tough pick.
Definitely. I'm with you on the cheaper card, bring down the curve a little bit. And then
Ruby's great. Yeah, awesome.
Ruby.
That's an easy pick.
Yeah, easy pick
Yeah.
there. If Ruby wasn't there, I would probably steer towards the removal. Based off of what we have going on here. Cackling Prowler, I think, is okay, but we need to pick up some removal. So
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
Ruby wasn't there, I'd probably grab Incinerating Blast.
Yep, I think so too. Prowler is kind of a whatever creature.
Yep. Okay.
Ooh, very nice. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna snap pick a Braid.
Yep. Yeah.
If a Braid wasn't here, maybe a little bit harder decision between Bushwhack and Mild Mannered Librarian. Because of the curve, I would say Mild Mannered Librarian over Bushwhack. But yeah, in that order. So a Braid, Mild Mannered, and then Bushwhack.
Yeah, I mean they're both 1 mana cards, the green cards, but I think Librarian's just the stronger card. That might change if we had picked up that Meldrotha and we're like, okay, we want to splash, but yeah, definitely a Braid, and then my pick order would be Librarian Bushwhack here. Oh
Another
wow,
battle song.
nice, yeah. So this is another spot I'm pretty sure we're gonna take the Battle Song Berserker, but let's do the other view of our deck just to see visually what the curve looks like. Okay, so we're good. We can probably put the squad ralliers in the board. We're not gonna be playing those. We don't want that to mess up what we think our curve looks like. And yeah, we don't have too many fours just yet. That's great to see. Berserker is one of the better ones. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I definitely like that, but obviously, if that wasn't there, Beastkin Ranger is going to be the snag.
Yep.
The land.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, definitely. I actually think Sower of Chaos in red green is not the worst card. Like we just have a bunch of big dummies that are attacking. This card can do okay work. Not that it's amazing or anything, but I just want to call it out as specifically in red green a card I like. But I also like Rugged Highlands better in red green than than just
Yeah.
whatever 4-drop.
And anytime we can fix the land, the mana is
Mhm.
always good. Bushwhack, easy.
Yeah, there's another Meteor Golem, but I think we can just take the second Bushwhack here. Yep. Our
Yep.
creatures are pretty beefy. They fight pretty well. Oh, and there's your Snare Spinner. Oh, but but let's look at our
But
curve. Let's see what the curve looks like, because solid 2 here too, and we are lacking 2-drops, right? That is something that I think we need.
yeah.
Yeah. It's close though. If we didn't pick up those other 4s, I might consider the other way around.
Well, we might get our Sower of Chaos here.
So I think same thing. I would just take the cheaper card here. The cavalry, when we are quite low on 2s. Like we really want to pick up I think 3 or 4 more to feel good about it. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
What?
We'll take. We're
All
taking
right,
Felon
we'll take
Blow.
it. Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll snatch grab that one.
So yeah, let's just check out the deck again just before we go to the third pack here. I really think it's good to we've kind of had an embarrassment of riches this draft, but can always fine tune. Can always be a bit more specific about what we want to pick up. What do you think we need to pick up? I mentioned 2-drops. I think you can see in this view we are missing attacking and blocking 2-drops. Anything else stick out to you?
We are getting pretty close to where we need to be for removal. We got
Yeah.
3, 4. We got 2 Bushwhacks. That's 5, and then the Felling Blow, 6. Right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we're good there. Probably grab a Needle too because we're running out of time here. But
Yep. I like Needles just fine.
or we could grab Bite Down.
Yeah, I think if we were, removal spell or 2 shorter, I would take the Bite Down here, but I like just one more top end card. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a nice one too.
Let's go ahead and just snatch grab.
Yeah, why not? No
That's fine.
problem.
And there's another Bite Down. Okay.
Yep. Just casually have the 2 best green rares.
Yep. That's fine. That's fine. So obviously Scavenging News, if that wasn't there, I would probably lean towards the Bite Down, just cheaper. Third in line, probably Shivan, and then fourth, Overrun for the shits and giggles.
I think Overrun I would take over Shivan Dragon. It is a little bit less in like a go tall green red deck like this, but it's certainly playable. Yeah, but great pack. Maybe we probably wheel one of these cards, honestly. Like we might wheel the Bite Down with the Overrun, just seeing how open green has been.
Yeah. But no, this is a great 2-drop for us, and a little bit of a mana sink. Gorehorn Raider has been doing really well. I do like it. You with the raid effect, you can bring it in, and then you're pinging out something with 2 toughness. Also, we could grab an Evolving Wilds here.
Yeah,
just because our curve is already so kind of crazy, we probably just want more land.
We should also point out the Courageous Goblin, because that's almost a green red gold card, not a card I like playing anywhere else except green red generally. But when we're short on 2s, it's a card I like. I think I would take the Wilds though. I think just like locking, I always aim for 2 dual lands generally, and so yeah, that's a good place to be. Also, we have more than enough playables at this point. I think making our mana base better is something I'd want to do.
Yep. Looking at this curve, I mean, these are both 3, but this being a single pip, it's I think the better card, and it's a 4/2 that goes with our synergies. So I would grab Eager Truffle Snout.
Absolutely. Yep. Nope. Exactly what I was gonna say. You nailed it.
Perfect.
Double pips, especially in this deck that's really heavy green, is something we don't really want.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
There we go. Nothing super sexy for us
Nah.
here. I would just grab the blast in case we need extra removal,
Yep.
but I doubt we'll
Exactly.
just go in the sideboard.
Ooh.
Okay, these both removal, but this is cheaper.
It is. I think that so as always, I say take the cheaper card when it's close. I think Indrik's actually a good notch better than Bite Down just as a card. Just 4/4 comes in, kills something usually. So I would spring for the power and just take the Indrik here actually, especially because we have lowered our curve a little bit. So I feel okay just taking a 6-drop there.
Uh, we lowered it enough to consider Dragon Trainer.
I think we can consider it. I'm also pretty interested in Giant Growth in this deck. Like we have a lot of trample, just one more cheap card. I think I would go for the Giant Growth here because we have enough cheap expensive cards now.
Gotcha.
Yep. Giant.
Probably not gonna play it.
Nope.
But
Medium 5. Don't need it. Yeah. Ambush Wolf.
Bite Down.
Yeah, Bite Down did indeed wheel, so that's cool. Yeah, kind of whatever sideboard card if we were playing. Oh, I would take the trick there. I would take the Sure Strike there.
Oh.
Yeah, no, sorry, I should have stopped you a little bit sooner. But Sure Strike, like I was saying, Giant Growth looks pretty good in this deck. The idea being that in your green-red stompy decks, combat tricks tend to be pretty good because your opponents, sometimes they're removal if they're playing like red, can't kill your big green thing. So they're gonna be forced into combat, often forced to double block. So when you have double blocking situations, combat tricks get really good. So
Yeah.
Not that I think we were like necessarily gonna play it, but just as far as what this deck might want, I would probably have taken the trick.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't value the tricks enough, I think, in this set as I should.
All right.
All right. We have to make some cuts
Yep.
here. We got about 5 cards that we need to cut. Probably can afford to cut some of the removal, to be honest. We have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Felling Blow is a combat trick, but also removal, so 7.
Mhm.
Giant Growth, another combat trick, so 8. So we potentially could look there, or we could just be like, all right, you know what? We're gonna leave it. Definitely Incinerating Blast. We don't need. We
Yep.
can drop that
That
one.
that was gonna be my first cut too. As much as I
Um,
said I liked Meteor Golem, I think that would be a cut probably because I think we have enough top end, and it's just like the worst of the top end.
yeah. Cackling Prowler probably.
So I was thinking that too, but we should keep our numbers up for Garrick's Uprising if we want to play that card. Because currently, how many 4-power creatures do we have? It's not all that many. I think you want somewhere in the neighborhood of like 7 to make Garrick's Uprising good. And we've got the Spinner, the 2 Truffle
1,
Snouts, the Wolf.
2, 3,
It's actually,
4.
I think we're probably okay cutting the Prowler. Yeah, we've got about 8 things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also Garrick's is gonna, or Felling Blow is gonna put 1/1 on anything that's a 3/3. So if we drop it on the Beastkin or like a Wary Thespian or Scavenging Nudes gets bigger. So
Well, the
there's
Uprising
opportunity.
only cares about entering, right? So it's not like we can. Sorry, like afterwards, you're saying. So like we make something bigger and then play Uprising to draw our card.
I'm just saying we can turn something with 3. Wait, is it 3 toughness or 3 power? So 3 power
Uh huh.
into something with 4. We have options to turn something into 4.
Right,
with
but
Felling Blow.
what I'm saying is that won't matter because Garrick's Uprising only cares about when something enters, right? So yeah,
Oh.
it's not like if you have a 4-power creature, it has to be like if this thing is 4 power when it enters.
Okay.
That's all.
Creatures you control have trample
Yeah.
whenever you control one with 4. So it does give it things trample
Yeah, no
if it
matter
has
how
4.
big they are.
Yeah. Cool. Gotta read. It's important.
Honestly, underrated skill in Magic, reading the cards.
Yeah, underrated. Underrated.
So one thing
Uh,
I would look at here is the mana, specifically with Bushwhack. So Bushwhack, I think if you're heavy enough green, which we are, you can just count that as a land. The first one, comfortably, you can just cut a red source, cut a mountain and play Bushwhack as a pseudo mountain tap land. The second one gets a little dicey because then, I kind of think of it as initial mana sources and mana sources that need other mana sources to work. So like Llanowar Elves and Bushwhack, yes, they are mana sources, but they need you to have a forest to work. So the numbers get fudged a little bit there. I think
Hmm.
I would probably just want to keep it to 16 lands. Don't go to 15. So maybe we just cut the second Bushwhack then. Yeah, looks pretty good to me.
Perfect. Cool. So we got a cool little stompy deck here. Um, Focusing on those 4 drops for things like Garooks. We're getting through also with Trample
Mm-hmm.
because of things like Garook. A little bit of synergy with Ruby. Again, all around that 4 power uh, goal. We're able to do some fun stuff with Spinner of the Souls to grab more creature cards and keep things going. And then we have a really solid removal base to kind of control the gameplay as we move through.
Yeah, honestly, this is like about exactly what you want for a red-green deck. Like we've got a few solid rares, good pile of creatures, a good pile of removal spells. Can't ask for too much more. Should we just jump in?
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead. First game, first
Yeah,
match.
let's
All
do it.
right. All right. Got to focus. Value plays, good exchanges. Listen to Alex. All right, this is what we're doing. I think a good keep.
Yeah, looks great.
Perfect.
Ooh, there's the uprising with no 4-power creatures just yet, but they'll come.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Okay, Pilfer.
Ooh. So I always like to think, what will they take if I were them? You know, I don't know their hand, but you know, what's
Either Garooks or Ruby is probably what I would take.
right? And if they take something else, that might tell you something about their hand. Okay, so they take the Greeks Uprising. That makes sense.
Yeah. They probably have removal, so they're going to hit me with a stab or something. They got stab, joust through. They got luminous rebuke available. All right, they're just gonna
Radical
play
Parent.
play
Sure.
creature.
Ooh, that's a nice one. Shiny.
Okay, so we got some options here. We have 3 mana. We could just play Felling Blow and take out this Prideful,
Mm-hmm.
and this now would become a 2/3, and then hold, so we don't need to attack. Or we could play Scavenging Ooze, but then that leaves like 1 unused mana. So
Yeah, I like just playing the Ranger here. I think in our red-green deck, especially, we just want to play creatures first and then removal spells to, you know, the more creatures you have, the more effective your removal spells are, essentially, because then you get to deal more damage when you attack. And especially because we can go, like, Ooze into Felling Blow next turn, and then or Ooze into Bite, and then Ruby can attack for 3, because our Ranger can grow to 4 power.
yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right, another parent.
Okay, solid.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Got our land.
Yeah, so let's think about this for a second. Is the attack with the Ranger good if we play the Ooze? It's pretty good. Is the attack with the Ruby good? It'll be a 3/4 that, you know, we could have the bite up to blow to combat. So that looks pretty good too.
So you're thinking play Ooze, make this a 4/3. That will trigger this. Then it's 3/4.
Mhm.
And then if we need to, we can bite something if they're threatening to kill this.
Yep, exactly. So if they want to double block, then we can maybe get a blowout here.
Okay, that makes that a 4. Next. Makes this a 3/4. Hope they don't have a joust through. See what happens.
Yeah, the arena stops have told me that they don't have the +1/+1 flying prevent damage trick, so that's it's a little bit of a tell.
Yeah. Do we bite down to save the beastkin?
We can't bite down anything to save the Beastkin, right? Because no matter what, they'll be able to have 3 power in front of it. So we just have to say, this is fine. We let this through, kill the 2 parents, and get our 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and also I guess slight mistap on our part. We didn't think about this as we did it, but it would have been better to leave up green, just tap the red, because we're not casting a red spell this turn. And now Scavenging Ooze can only exile one thing.
Yep.
Cool.
That auto tapper.
I know. Also, sorry, I was talking about like, oh, we might get a blowout in combat. I forgot they saw our hand with Pilfer, so that is unlikely to have happened.
Yep. Seeker's Folly. Oh, that's fun.
All right, not a huge deal.
Pitch the land.
Yep.
And would you keep the bite down or the felling blow?
Yeah, good question. One's instant, one's a bit better, just as a spell. I think probably we pitch the bite down, just a slightly less powerful spell.
Heir Apparent.
Cool.
Let's hope they don't have like 73 of those in the deck.
They're almost out of resources, so that's good.
Okay. I think we pump this to 4.
Yep.
And then swing with the 2. Or should I?
I like even Felling Blow potentially, because I think if we just, it's our last removal spell in hand, but if we can just clear the board for the most part, yeah, make it so that they can't block this profitably, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Like, they can't kill the Ooze, it seems. So if we just ride that to victory, I think we're good. So now it's just, what do we want to put the counter on is the question.
So if we put it on Ruby Tracker, or the Ruby, that would make it a 2/3. We can still pump the Ooze, make it a 4/4. So
Yep.
then the next turn, it's going to swing as a 4/5. And then they wouldn't be able to kill it with anything. So I think we put it on the Ruby.
Yep, looks good. Ooze grows on its own, so definitely agree. And then we want to grow the Ooze before combat so we can get the Ruby trigger. There we go. All right, they're saving a little bit of damage. Like, what they chump block with, I always think about that too. Because if they, like, double chumped, well, not that it would change anything, but means we're probably in for a field wipe. A single chump means they're just looking to save some damage. So your opponent's intentions, always something you want to think about when they go for blocks.
Okay, interesting. We got lots of targets for this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, here's a question.
Yeah.
Do we hold this for a flash?
I would say so, especially just because, like, number one, you don't have to use the Ooze's ability until, you know, it's relevant, especially when it goes unblocked. So no reason to do it right now for sure. And if they don't block, I think we just still probably just ambush Wolf instead of grow the Ooze.
Yeah. Okay. And then I would just hold it, or...
Yep, we just hold it. No reason to play it now.
Yeah, this has been a common comment I've gotten on on my videos. Of like, why didn't you wait till their end step to play your flash card and then instead of just playing it in main one? And I'm like, I guess it's the more efficient play, but...
Yeah, I don't want to, you know, the opponent has a field wipe here, and you play that main phase, feels pretty bad, right?
Gonna save the creatures for Scavenging Ooze.
Yep.
Okay, now we just hold.
Yeah, just jam.
Take a Burglar Rat.
And same thing there. Like, I don't think it's going to matter here too much, but no need to do the Ooze just yet, right? Even if it doesn't matter right now, it's just good to build a habit.
Yeah, for the, like, pumping this. Yeah.
All right,
okay.
Yeah, just for
Cool.
for pumping the Ooze. You, like, it's an instant speed ability. Might as well just wait to the last minute. In a lot of cases, right? I liked actually the first time you did it because you played around stab by growing it to a 3/3 before they untapped. But in this situation, we can just wait.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, you gotta. I don't know why I have a tendency. I would have just like dumped all of my green and buffed it before attack, but I guess not. It's about information, right? There's that concept of perfect information.
Exactly.
So, if I do that, they know I'm tapped out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything in hand, so Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like I don't think there would be a card that they could have that would really matter for in that moment. But like I said, I think just making sure you're going through the motions as if it might matter in some other game builds those good habits.
Definitely. No, that's definitely something I need to ingrain. I don't know why it's in me. Just like, let's make this as big as possible before we do anything.
Yeah, I mean everybody has their little quirks that just like, why do I do that? I don't know.
I don't love that we don't have access to a lot of stuff, but good mana start. We do have some ability to control with bite down and burst lightning. Turn two Thespian. We can do a little bit of library grooming. So like, it's not my favorite, but I'd probably take it.
Yep, for sure. I would love if one of these removal spells was like swapped for a creature. It's generally better to have creatures in your opening hand than removal spells for this kind of deck, but Thespian can hopefully scry us into some action.
Okay, well, that is something.
Yeah, it's a little bit of action.
Probably don't need
No,
that.
don't want that. Don't want another removal spell. Don't want to land.
Yeah. But we got another land
Yeah.
anyway. Get in for our 3
All
and
right.
then hold.
Yep.
All right, they are white black, so Orzhov, we're gonna have to worry about like life gain. Black's got access to a lot of really great removal.
So we probably should just bite down this 3/3. We could just offer the trade, but I would just want to keep the pressure on here.
Yeah.
We've got another removal spell in hand. Not a huge deal. And you could have offered the giant growth, like attack, maybe giant growth, but we have a lot of 4s in the deck. So I think I would just want to do the thing on our turn, use our mana. You always use giant growth a little bit later.
It's an efficiency thing too.
Yep.
Just in case I did get a good like 4-drop or something. All right, what do we got, guy? 6 cards in hand.
I assume their hand is pretty stacked because they didn't play a 2, played like a fine 3. So it's I would put us at a bit of a disadvantage here because our hand is not impactful and theirs seems to be full of some impactful cards.
Yeah, they're keeping a lot of top end cards.
Yep.
And then thinking endlessly.
Yeah, they might be thinking, do I really want to kill this 3/1? Like
I don't know. It's
yeah.
scary.
Yeah,
It's scary 3/1.
They've been dealt 6 damage. All right.
Okay.
So what is this? Like they passed. They thought for a while. They passed the turn, and now they're like, all right, your go.
So black white doesn't have anything with flash that I can think of.
Don't think so.
So they're not gonna flash in a creature.
Well, sorry, they could. They could be the reinforcements, the 2/1/1s, but
It could be the reinforcement. Yep, that
they
does
would have had
flash.
to just draw that. I don't think there's anything that makes us not want to attack, so let's just attack.
The only other thing is a whole slew of removal.
Yep, that's probably it. I would guess that's probably it. Okay.
See, this is where limited gets me. There's like no way in constructed they didn't have removal.
Right. I mean, they still might. They might just be like, well, if they had a 5, they might want to kill our 5 instead of our 2. Looks like not the case. They could have a field wipe in hand. Like that might be like they're like, I have these creatures. Should I play them? I don't want to. It's really interesting just trying to figure out like based on their game actions, what could they possibly have?
Yeah, they could have that. What is that? The 2 colorless, 2 white, destroy all creatures.
Yep. All right, Helpful Hunter is an annoying one because that does block our Thespian.
We could burst lightning it, but we also are in range now to do burst lightning 4 damage.
Right.
And we can do that right to face, and so that gets interesting.
Yeah, we actually have close to lethal here. 1-off lethal if we like abrade the hunter, attack giant growth, and then burst lightning. That would put them to 10. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting spot. We've drawn a million lands. I actually think we are supposed to abrade this hunter. It sounds really weird, but I think we just have to keep pushing damage. I think we have to hope, that this Thespian deals at least 3 more. If they have a cheap removal spell, it's a little bit annoying, but we're not winning this game just sitting back and doing nothing.
All right, well, let's see what happens. So I'm going to declare attacker, wait to defend step, and then see if I can pull out like a joust through or something that's a damage
Hmm.
base removal, and then I can giant growth.
Yeah, we don't want a giant growth proactively. And now
Yeah.
it seems like they might go, okay, I've taken enough from this thespian, I should just kill it.
Yeah, they can afford a luminous rebuke. Um,
Yeah, they're
here
like,
it's my
I
fault.
don't want to burn this downfall in this 3-1, but I have to. Okay.
All right, let's do some library grooming.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we'll keep that one.
Yep, good enough. Big dummy. Yeah, so they did like nothing, 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 nothing. Played the hunter. I would put them on like not 100%, but I think it's fairly likely they have a field wipe in hand. Because they just like haven't been playing creatures. I don't think they have a million removal spells, or else they just would have burned one of them at least, you know? Ooh, this is
Yeah,
we might want to be careful with this lightning. If they crack the food, we'll kill it in response.
if they crack the food, kill it in
Yeah,
response.
if they use their mana.
Okay.
Yeah, because then they don't get the cat, is the idea. All right, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, don't play the forest because burglar rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah, I
be.
was also
Oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was also thinking just feigning additional things in hand.
Mm-hmm.
We pretty much have enough mana to play anything in our deck at this point, except for Affectionate Indrik. So no reason to not hold a land for something like Rat, or feigning like we have something else.
Yeah, the one reason is we do have the librarian, which like is a expensive card draw that draws us into other things. So like when you have card draw in your deck, you do want to be playing your lands out. But I think potential discard overturns that. There, it's only one card in our deck. All right.
I guess just swing.
Yeah, just get in. We get to hit them for 4.
All right. Play our boy.
Yep, looks good.
Got in for 4. So we could do 7, 9 next turn if they didn't block anything. But could also, if we get another big dumb idiot, we can give it haste.
Abyssal Harvester. Okay.
Exile target card from a graveyard. Put there this turn. So it's got to be put there this turn.
Rebuke. All right.
But he can't tap, so he can't get that
Nope.
off of that. All right. Okay. That has to be this turn. All right, my turn.
Another land.
Solid.
All right. So we should hold that one too. We should have held that one too, just to play against player on Seeker's Folly, the discard too. We don't really need the land.
Gotcha.
So yeah, guess we just attack. No, not really much reason not to. They can double block, but we kill this area angel. It's not great, but I think we have to hope they just single block here.
Yeah.
Nothing.
This is the new nothing. All right.
So this is another sign. I think they probably have a removal spell or two in hand, because if I'm them, I like, and I sniff out a combat trick, I'm like, all right, I'll just take the damage for now. It's fine. I can kill you next turn when you go for the trick.
Gotcha. So don't pump it.
No, there's no reason to put them to 5 here. It's not like we have a deal 5 burn spell. If it was putting them to 4 and then we had more burst lightnings, I think that's actually a good opportunity to do that, because as this game goes on, I don't think we're very favored. So that would be a really probably the best chance we have to win this game. Yeah, and then a lifelinker.
Ugh. Getting away.
Yeah, slipping away from us. Hendrick's actually a pretty good draw. Like, it kills the savior, and then we can haste it out. One of the better things we could have drawn, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Kill this.
Yeah, I guess problem there is if they don't block, we just lose, right? Because like they deal us like they go, okay, no blocks, they attack us with both things, then we just take 7 and die. So we probably can't afford to do that. We probably just have to chill here.
Yeah. And then we can pump for a block with the Indrik against the Abyssal.
Yeah, they probably won't attack with the Harvester, I would assume. Like they're just not going to be that interested in getting that thing into combat.
Yeah.
Also, you know, there was the line of going like giant growth in response to the fight trigger, kill Sarah Angel. I think that deals with the immediate problem of this Angel, but I think we need this giant growth to, you know, somehow deal the last few points of damage, or like they mess up somehow and the growth helps us in combat. I don't think killing the Angel using 2 cards, or, you know, a card and a half, is our path to victory here.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. We could have done that. That's interesting. Because this has to hit the battlefield first, and then in response to its trigger, you can giant growth it, and then
Yep.
That's not helpful either.
No, but it doesn't change too much. I mean, it gives them an additional blocker, but we can now win the combat with the Harvester if they choose to attack with that, and
Yep.
yeah, it's still fine. Now things have changed, and I'm more willing to use the growth because we'll just die if they attack with both. Okay, they put us to 1, I think.
Yeah, they're gonna go attack.
All right, come on, Scavenging Ooze. Huh. Wow. Does that do anything here? So almost sort of kind of like we give Menace to the Indrik, we give Haste to the Berserker. It's not quite enough unless they literally don't block, but we might as well go for it.
Yep. All right, let's see what happens. So give Haste to the Berserker.
And Menace, I guess, doesn't matter which one you give it to. Or kind of. I guess the Indrik is probably slightly better. Yeah, they have to go actual no blocks here. So we're kind of hoping that they just walked away from their computer.
This is our win con.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they walk away from their computer? Come on, actual no blocks. Oh.
Yeah, I assume they're going to go for a double block and not block with the Sarah Angel. That would make the most sense to me here.
Well, they can't. They would have to double block this.
Yep, and then then one of our creature dies, and then, yeah, okay. We can cast the growth to show them we had it if we want, but we are pretty much just dead.
Because I could kill the Angel.
But then we just die, right? Because the 5/4 attacks us.
Yeah.
And the Felidar.
Well, that was game.
Yep.
All right.
Close
Concede.
game. We, I think we just drew a few, slightly flooded, but also their cards just being, top end cards. We didn't have our opening hand didn't pan out as much as we would have liked it to. Like we had, I think it was a fine keep still. I wouldn't mulligan that hand if I were to do it again, but we would have hoped to draw like a creature, which our deck has a lot of, a creature in the first 5 turns or whatever.
Yeah, that's like I said, it wasn't our favorite hand, but there was a line, right? So there was something we could do with it.
Yeah, it's definitely better to keep that hand than not.
No, this is hoping we get a third land.
Yep.
But I would keep because of Burst Lightning and access to Bite Down. And then third land gives us, 2 more creatures right away. We go first here, so.
And this deck's got 18 mana sources when you count the Elf and the Bushwhack, so
yeah,
we're favored here to hit the third land by 3. Oh, well, that's good too. I forgot about Ruby. That's another mana source.
Yep. So we'll go ahead and play that. They're blue, so something we do have to worry about is Essence Scatter.
Are they going to Fleeting Distraction here? Looks like, yeah, they are. Okay.
Okay. I was like, what one mana? Like, what is 1 blue mana? And I was like, there's no bounce spells in this set, I don't think.
Huh. Okay. So, like you said, Essence Scatter is something to consider here.
True.
So yeah, how do we want to go about that? Playing around that, if that's a thing. I mean, even if that's not a thing, let's pretend Essence Scatter isn't a thing for a second. How do we play this turn normally?
Normally, I would probably play Garooks because it's early, and then I have 2 4-drops.
So I would say two
Then
things I wouldn't want to do that, or 2 reasons why I wouldn't want to do that. One, Garrick's Uprising triggers, even if you like, it'll trigger after you play the 4-power creature too. It says if you control a creature with 4 power, you draw a card. So we can play the creature first, then Uprising to draw a card. But also,
okay.
with this deck, priority is getting creatures out, starting to attack. The drawing cards thing is later. With the Scatter potentially in the mind, I would just pass the turn, cast the Ambush Wolf on the end of their turn.
Okay. And then, yeah, obviously not attack because
Yep.
we need the mana. So no attacks at turn, and then put a stop at the end of their turn, and we'll flash in Ambush Wolf.
Okay, just a 2/1.
No blocks.
They have the 2/2 Death Touch thing. They like really ambitiously attack there. No, Seeker's Folly. Okay.
Okay. We got some good cards here.
Yeah, some decisions to make.
Do I want to get rid of the one I can't play? So Battle Song, and then like a Bite Down, and then keep the Burst.
I would discard one of the 3-drops because we're gonna be able to play the Berserker eventually, and it's a powerful card. And yeah, just get rid of the Truffle Snout, and I think probably the Bite Down. Just we need to keep our creatures. The Uprising, you could consider that too, but the Uprising kind of helps us both get back the cards that we're just discarding and maybe push the last few points of damage. So I could see you either discarding the Uprising or the Bite there. Pretty close. Yeah, this works out nicely
Perfect.
though. Yep. Land,
Okay.
awesome.
Nice. So now I could play Battle Song Berserker, but then I wouldn't be able to attack with Ruby. So if I would look at like damage out, so if I just attack with Ruby, I'm going to get in for 7 damage versus if I play this, I'm only going to get in with like 5 damage. So
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so go ahead.
I think I'm just going to attack and then play Garooks.
I would play the Berserker here. Like, again, the priority for this deck is just, like, get the creatures on the board first. And unless there's something very compelling that makes me not want to do that, I'm just going to do that most times.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's a mind shift, set shift for sure. Okay, so I got to get my head around that.
Yeah, like, this deck, while the card draw on Uprising is cool, it's nice, it's not what's going to win us the game in this deck, right? What's going to win us the game is just, like, beating down, making sure they don't have good blocks.
Okay. Swing, see how they respond, and then I could potentially Burst Lightning something.
Yeah, so where do we want to put the Menace here?
I would probably put the Menace on the 4/2.
Absolutely. Yep, looks great. Yeah, I guess there's some merit to playing Uprising first to, give trample, but this is the reason why we don't want to, because now we can just blow this out.
Yeah, the Vampire Gorman.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, so the counterpoint here, the counterfactual, if we hadn't done this, they'd be at like 14. Or sorry, this as in we didn't play the Berserker over the Uprising. We'd have another card in hand, but they'd be at 14, which is way more than 7, right? Because here we have a pretty good chance of just killing them.
Just swing again?
Yeah, I think no reason not to just swing first.
Now, do they have any flash cards? They could have that.
Okay, so hold on. Before we do this, we might want to Evolving Wilds to, so we might want to draw the 4-power creature again. Do we want to do that? Because if we Wilds after and we choose to put the wolf on top, we shuffle it in. So Probably not, but it's just worth thinking about, right? Like, I think it's fine not to shuffle just yet. I think we can just say, okay, we'll put that on the bottom anyways. We don't want to draw the wolf. But just one thing to think about when they do this kind of card, put on top of bottom, you do generally want to fetch before.
Gotcha. So put it on bottom?
Yep, looks good. And actually, this is still, no, not exactly lethal. Well, so if we stack the triggers here, okay, yeah, they figured out. I think we can stack the trigger, yeah, whenever it attacks. So we can stack the trigger so that we give the Berserker a power, the Ruby will grow, and then that's just 7. So
Perfect.
okay,
All
nice.
right.
So yeah,
Turn
I think that's, like you said, a bit of a mind set shift there. So really, really, right now, I would recommend, if you're making that decision between should I play the board affecting thing or the creature, or the
Yeah.
non-board affecting thing, right now your intuition is too much tuned to the, well, I could get some value, right? Really just shifted the other direction, and like we talked about last time, you might go too far at once in a while, but I think it's gonna do you best just to be like, nope, let me push against my intuition, do the other thing. I think that's gonna lead you to a good spot, and then you can dial back once you kind of get a feel for what that feels like, just to always play the creature as the first thing, or play the creatures before you play the other things.
Yeah, somebody commented on, I think it was just one of my playthroughs, was that you got to be a little bit like quite a bit more aggressive in limited
Mm-hmm.
versus like trying to put together a game plan and like build out a combo strategy or a
Right.
line. You're more about trying to get creatures on the board and turning them sideways a lot of times in the limited format,
Mm-hmm.
which is how you play an aggro constructed deck. So that's that set shift has actually been quite difficult for me, because I'm more like, okay, here's this, I'm gonna layer this
Totally.
strategy and layer this line. So um I'd say we keep.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah, like I would still call this red green deck, even though it has a somewhat high-ish curve, it's definitely still an aggressive deck. Like, it wants to end the game as quickly as it can. So we're if take your red or Boros mice standard deck, right, and just apply that mindset to this deck still.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just gonna get some creatures out here and start turning them sideways. This is
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing. I have the land to play that, so I'd probably keep
Yeah,
it.
looks good.
We have a 3-drop. We'll have probably, maybe, hopefully get something else in the 4 spot,
Yep.
but
The parent annoying again. All right.
do I swing with this knowing Spinner of Souls would trigger and then I get Surveil and Spinner of Souls, or do I leave it for defense?
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting because we could make this attack in 2 turns and then maybe get a needle tooth pack trigger. I think I like just going for the attack. Like, attack with, like, play the spinner, attack with Thespian. We trade for half of a card here, their token, but like I said, we get a card, we get the Surveil. Obviously, we want to do the well, not obviously, but I think we want to get the creature first if it gives us the choice. Yeah.
Take action. Okay.
Ooh, do we want a giant growth? I think no. I think we have more impactful cards.
Yeah. Then turn 4 here. Okay, now this is, why would they attack? They have 1 white open. Joust Through does attacking or defending. Joust Through does 3 damage. They could also have the Fleeting Flight, and avoids combat damage, so it would still stay alive. So I'm just not going to block.
Yep, no blocks here. I tend to, in the dark, if there's nothing else that tells me, oh, they might have this over that, I tend to play around the common over the uncommon. So with that being said, I think you still attack here, and then if they have the Joust Through, all right, unfortunate, but if they have the, oh, sorry, my bad. You don't want to do that because they can just go for the block and the 3/2. They could go like, okay, I use the trick, but if I'm them, I just block for 3/2. Don't try to use the trick. So I think it's better just to chill, just play the Llanowar Elves. Don't try to get too fancy here. Arena tells us it is actually the common trick because they couldn't play Joust Through right now. So just a little good thing to note there.
Wait, so Duster's what is that? Uncommon? Is it a
It's
rare?
an uncommon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's an uncommon. Yeah, that's
All
right.
right, Feldar Savior. So let's see. Yeah, so now we are faced with a decision. We could cast the trick now, and then force them to use it. Basically, they trade their trick for our burst lightning. If we don't do that, we have to take a bunch of damage or wait and like untap and burst lightning. We could
Yeah,
also pack next turn. I think you probably want to use the lightning here. Like it's like trading a card for a card, but I think that's okay.
so marauding probably.
Yeah, I think put it on the well, will we rather have 2-3, like a 3-3 and a 3-2 to deal with, or a 4-3 and a 2-2? That's the question we're asking ourselves here.
Well, the 3/3 also has vigilance, which is a pain in the ass.
I think we'd rather have 2-3-3, so I would actually just go for the kill the 2-2. Or 2-3 power creatures, I should say.
Kill the marauding.
Oh, no, I would kill the 2-2, because then they're going to be prompted to use the trick, and
Yeah.
then they're going to have a 3-3. And then on turn 6, or on turn 5, sorry, we can go Indrik, kill one of these things, and then have a 4-4 blocker.
Yep, there it is. Fleeting flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then didn't attack. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I messed you up. I'm so sorry here. They would have 4-4 anyway because the savior. So my bad. It doesn't change too much here. I think either way doesn't matter, but that was probably a bit more confusing than it had to be. So apologies for that.
Gotcha. Probably Indrik take out Felidar.
We
And
could
then
do that. I kind of like getting the pack down first so that we can get the morbid trigger next turn too.
Okay. Yeah, because it is a 4/5, so
Mhm.
it can absorb these guys.
Yep.
So that is worth noting. I was just thinking removal. I think again, defensive mindset like versus aggressive mindset makes a lot more sense. Okay, back into the
All right.
pie.
Sure. We get another creature. Great.
Take
Spinner.
action. What do we get? Got news.
Awesome. Yeah, Spinner doing awesome things here. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised they haven't been attacking here. So we could block at this point. Like one of the things is we've got our ooze, we've got this Indrik, like we've got good stuff going on. We don't want to go too low in life total. I think having scavenging ooze means we don't need to worry too much about the life total, so we can just take this for now. But it would be worth considering blocking even with a rare here at this point. Although I don't think we need to just yet.
Okay, so just take.
Yep, just take it.
Okay. Then I think we play the other green. Now do we Indrik or do we ooze and then just pump the ooze a bunch?
I think I like Indriking here. Yeah, we can kill the savior and then trade with one of these 4-power creatures. Ooze is a little bit better. Once the dust is settled, everything's died, it can eat a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Yep, always chill.
No attacks. We'll hold.
4-4.
Gotta attack with 3 or more. Okay. Nice. Got a ruby. Okay. So now we could ooze and pump. Or we could wait and flash in. Well, play ruby, and then we could still have enough to flash in ambush wolf and kill something if they try to swing. Well, actually, no. They're gonna put a 1/1 counter on a target creature. So one of these is gonna become a 5/5.
Yeah, which is kind of okay. I think we play Ruby because she effectively costs 1 because she taps immediately. And then we can play the ooze and just pass here. Careful. Ooh. Again, auto tapping here kind of messes us up because now we don't have as much green to use the ooze with. It was better to use the mountain.
Damn auto.
I know the auto tap, bro. It's every look. You are not the first person to get screwed over by the auto tapper, and you certainly will not be the last. Luckily, it wasn't a huge deal here, but always good to check that out. Dazzling Angel. Okay.
Okay. So do they swing now with their 3 to be able to dole out a 1/1? Okay,
They
so they're
do.
gonna dole out a 1/1. Probably put it on Angel. No, they're gonna put it on.
Okay. So this is great because now the ambush wolf can make
Okay.
that trade. Yeah.
So resolve.
Yep. And we wolf now.
Wolf. Yeah, we're good. Not a creature. We gotta save those. Okay. Well, wolf here. Indrik.
Yeah, and I think we probably want to take a block with the elf as well, just to save a little bit of damage. Like, we are kind of at risk of maybe dying to the flyer if they kill our spinner. So I think it's a good turn to just soak up a bunch of damage. Oh, sorry,
Actually,
I forgot. We have ooze, so that's not going to be the case. We're fine not blocking with the elf. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
should I have Indrik actually kill the armor star because it
Yes,
has an attacking
that's a
effect?
little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. What combat tricks do you got? None.
Nada.
Nice.
Great.
Take 4. Spinner of Souls gonna get us some creatures. Perfect. We'll take that one. Yeah, we'll take
Yeah.
that one too.
Spinner's a pretty wild card. All right, so we wanted to ooze end a turn there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so now we have a little bit less life to play with. Luckily, we drew a flyer, so it doesn't matter too much. So let's play the Dragon Trainer, tapping all of our red, I think, because we could tap all of our red or play the Cavalry. But I think we want to just...
Yeah, we want to save it for the ooze.
Yeah, or we just play the Ranger. So I don't think we need to play Cavalry this turn. So yeah, I'd go like Mountain, 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 Forest, Forest.
Dragon Trainer.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, should I ooze or play Beastkin?
I think just play the Beastkin here. We're not in too much danger of just getting, burned out or anything. The Blight Priest is gone now, so chip damage doesn't matter as much. We now have 2 flyers, so... Or sorry, a flyer and a reach creature, so if they kill one of them, the Angel's not going to peck in.
All right.
Yep. We do now, I think, want to close out the game, though, as quickly as we can.
Yep. I agree.
All right.
Hero's Downfall.
Bye-bye, finally. You did your job, Spinner. You're good.
You did our job. We
Yeah.
got a bunch of creature cards. Okay. Now
Yep.
crack the ooze.
Ooh, nice. So
So
yeah, go ahead.
that's interesting. We can get rid of the flyer, and then it just gives our dragon free reign. Because the ooze is going to get big enough to deal with Prideful Parent. Plus, we have a lot of like little stuff we can block if we really need to for Prideful Parent.
Right. So let's shift the mindset a little bit here. Like I said a second ago. Okay, I think we want to start ending the game now. Now we should go into what actually kills them the quickest instead. That's the math I'm doing here. So I would want to get the parent out of the way so our ground creatures, our smaller ground creatures, can attack. I guess specifically just Ruby. So yeah, let's use Bite Down, Flyer. Flyer on the 4/4. Cool. Again, auto tapper, gotcha, because green. But I don't think it's gonna matter too much here. And yeah, we just jam with the non-1/1 creatures. That's what we attack with.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, and then sorry, I should have said this too, but I guess we should have played the Cavalry to get the extra pump on the Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
Not a huge deal though. We still killed him in 2. Ooh, what's this?
Okay.
Yeah, so let them do their thing first. No need to pump the ooze just yet. Okay.
Perfect.
So yeah, let's now play the Cavalry. Yeah. Ah, the green. I'll put a big red button next to. Yeah, just to be like, stop.
I'm manually tapping for the rest of the.
Oh, brutal. Okay, so we want to ooze here. We want to exile something from their grave just to make sure they can't bring it back. That's pretty rough. That's tough. Yeah.
Probably Dazzling Angel.
Yeah, Angel and probably the 4/4. Okay, Trouble Snap. Yeah, in retrospect, actually, my bad here. Probably didn't need to commit the 2/2, the Cavalry to the board. To play around a Wrath there. It's probably fine to do. All right, Downfall.
Okay, well, I've just got a whole bunch. All right, I'm just going to hold.
Yeah, we just chill. They're due for some lands, too, at this point. Bushwhack. Okay, hold that.
Okay, got a little bit of removal. Okay, yeah. You're due to flood out. That's what we need this guy to do.
All right, yeah. This is the downside of green removal.
Need a creature.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, so yeah, I think I actually probably led us astray here on that last part because I wasn't really thinking through at that point. But if we just held the 2/2 to play around the field wipe, I think we probably we would have a creature to fight with here. So
Yeah.
I'll take the L on that one, but you can still take a takeaway from it, right? Like our board is so far ahead that we don't need to add the 2/2 to the board. We were gonna kill them in 2 turns anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Also, manually tapping that could have, we missed out on probably like 3 life
3
or
life.
so.
Yep, exactly.
Could have bought us another turn.
All right, good hand.
Yeah. Don't hate it. Yeah. Okay, Infestation Sage. Manually tapping everything.
Mm-hmm.
From now on.
Red Fire Emulator. All right.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm just gonna take out the Truffle Snout as soon as I play it.
That's okay. That would still be a trade of 3 mana for 3 mana, right? So it's not. Oh, that actually changes things because now we can just haste everything out and have Giant Growth up. So I had to actually just play the Cavalry. I was just about to be like, okay, it's okay if they trade their 3 for our 3, but now we have something to actually play around it.
So you're saying Giant Growth this if they try to hardfire it?
No. So what I was saying is we can now haste out the Truffle Snout potentially, and
Gotcha.
then if they go to kill that, we can Giant Growth.
Gotcha. If they don't kill it.
Yeah. If they don't kill, but yeah, if they do, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, at least they.
Stab.
Okay.
So, should we? Oh, before we let this, the prowess trigger can resolve, but we could choose Giant Growth here. And then we have we could haste out the Berserker after that. That also means they don't attack us this turn. I think it's probably a good place to use the Giant Growth. They can now still sack the Emulator to kill it, but that's fine.
Yeah, they're using a lot of resources now to kill it.
Yeah, we don't mind getting the creature off the table.
Yeah, they have to sacrifice this, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
So
just
they
that.
get rid of the creature.
Not just the machine gun.
Yeah, just bow, bow,
Yeah.
bow.
All right, yeah, they go for it, and that's good for us because we don't want our Truffle Snout getting gotten by that.
Perfect.
Okay, so here's an interesting spot because we could make the mana efficient play. Just go for the Berserker. Berserker is pretty high value though, so we could bait out a removal spell first. I think it's still probably just better to go for the Berserker, but it's worth considering at this point. Maybe we slower roll a little bit.
Well,
but
they will have access to their 4th land this next turn, so they could do something like bake into pie. I mean, and then this is still just a 1/1, so even though this it could block this.
Right, but if they play a 2 power creature, then they get us kind of, right? Because then they can just block. So I would just play the Berserker. If they have removal, force them to use the removal.
Good old black. All right. Here's hoping they don't have 4th land.
And here's the other thing too. If we prompt them to use a removal spell, they won't have a removal spell potentially for our bite down when we go for that. If they have an instant speed removal spell and we go bite down, that'd be pretty annoying.
Yeah. Okay, 4th land. Bake into a pie. Ooh, Perforating Artist.
Sure, that's fine.
Just lose 3 life?
Yeah, just lose 3. No big deal. So what we should think about what that means, right? They attack with Sage. Why? It could be a braid.
Just to trigger the Perforating Artist.
It could be that
raid.
too. Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, this is interesting. I just ping it out with Burst Lightning.
Yep, I think we just go Burst Lightning, attack, play the Truffle Snout.
Get rid of this.
Yep, now we set up
And then
pretty good
Truffle
clock.
Snout. So what is this? Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, I get a food token. Okay, gotcha. This also gives it menace. So I should probably be giving menace to this to get the food tokens.
Yeah, just especially you want to give menace to like the lower power or sorry, lower toughness creatures because those trade easier. Depends what they play, of course, but
Okay, I got a 5th land.
okay, they're still attack. I think we still just take it.
Yeah, I'll just take the 1.
If they have
They
another
got something
artist,
else with raid. Yeah, they got
sure.
another artist. Vampire
Nighthawk.
Nighthawk
Okay. And
or
rat.
Burglar Rat. So I'm probably dropping the Thespian so that I can bite down the
Yep,
Nighthawk.
absolutely. All right, that's
Okay.
not a bad draw. So yeah, I think we just go for this pre-combat. Nice. Getting for 8. Put them in lethal
Then
range.
Menace, getting that through.
Actually, here, I know I said the other thing. It's actually better to give Menace to the Berserker, because if they want to chump, I mean, they can't chump, right? They'd either block the trample creature, take 4, and they can't block the Menace creature. So in that situation, here's an exception to the rule. Because it's just a 1/1, they might want to chump block with. Better to limit their options, basically.
Gotcha.
Arena. Oh.
That's a late arena.
Yeah,
That's
I think
gonna
they might just die to that arena. And
yeah.
we should crack our food here. No reason not to.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it at their end step.
Great.
Crack my food.
That was also a really good draw. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Play another one of these.
Yeah, let's do it.
They both get menace.
Yep. Menace, menace.
All right. So they could. Well, I mean, I'm killing 2 or whatever. All right.
Actually,
3 still getting through.
this is a moment that we're playing together. It's not always easy to go into the tank and like figure out the math, but there might have been a better. It might have been better to put it on the trampler. I don't know right now, but you might have been able to. They died to the arena anyways.
They died to the arena.
My point being that there might have been a difference between like would they die to the arena that turn or would they not. I didn't work out the math, but that's a point I would have checked out because yes, if the way we did it makes it so it's harder for them to block. But if we just put it all on the trampler, it might have worked out differently. Like I said, I don't think it would have, but just one of the things I would just stop to think about for a second.
Yeah. All right. So we got 3 wins.
3 wins. Nice. Yeah.
Now let's see if we can break my curse. It's been quite some time since I've gotten 4 wins.
We can do it. I believe.
All right.
No
Let's
auto
see.
taps. Getting us.
No auto. I'm manually tapping from here on out.
Hands up, Brian. Let me see those
Just hands up. I'm not touching anything. It's elbows only.
Great.
Like,
Freeze. Put your hands where I can see them. We cannot allow any more auto tapping.
Nope, I'm not clicking. I need voice commands for the computer.
All right,
Tap
let's.
red.
Ooh, it's a pretty solid one. The Uprising looks a little out of place with no 4-power creature, but still a good hand.
Yeah, got our little dual lands. Get that out early. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Haze that thing out.
Then get the. Ooh,
a little bit late Llanowar Elf, but
would you still play the Axe Guard Cavalry?
I would still play the Cavalry. Yeah, I think that's still a little bit better.
Because then, yeah, we can do Eager Truffle Snout with haste.
Okay, so this kind of smells like Refute to me. Not exactly clear what we want to do about that, but nothing. Island Forest seems like it's in the range. Do we want to just jam the Truffle Snout? And if that works out, great. If not, that's fine. Do we want to play something else? There's not really another option, I suppose. Like Llanowar Elf, we could play. Like,
I mean, we could bait with Garooks, but
I agree, but I think that's going to be pretty good at some point. I might just play the Elf. Just to, like, if they counter this, it's not a huge deal. And if they don't, okay, they don't even have a counter. So what we can do now, we can have our cake and eat it too. We can actually play the Truffle Snout now, right? Because we haste out the Llanowar Elf. Yep. Okay, so no longer is Refute in my range of what they could have. I think they would have just countered the Truffle Snout there.
Yeah. Okay. You could have like an Etherize now. Ooh, Cackling
Prowler.
Prowler. Interesting. What is the... It's a Ward 2. I could bite down a Cackling Prowler.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-combat. I have enough for the ward, and then just go for it.
Well, again, let's think back to the thing of today, the mindset shift. What should we do instead? Probably, in most cases, unless there's
Battlesong Berserker.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless there's extenuating circumstances, we should just go for the. And actually, I think we should haste out the Berserker and then just attack with the Truffle Snout. Let me be more clear. Haste out the Berserker, give the Berserker Menace, and then attack with both. Because we don't mind if the Truffle Snout trades with the 4/3.
Gotcha.
We even get a food along the way.
Well, if it does... Oh, yeah, because it trample, because it will still get 1 damage through. So, yeah, I'll get a food token. Yeah. Unless they just take.
If they just take it, I assume their plan is to go like Bite Spell or Fight Spell. To kill the Berserker when we untap. Or when they untap.
Yeah. It's got Menace.
All right,
there you go.
Great. That's fine.
Perfect. Get a food token. Get rid of Cackling. Then we still have, guess. Well, we did kill our 4 power creature, so Garruk's is a little less attractive at this point. But we do have 2 removals with the Burst Lightning and the Bite Down, which is perfect for that.
All right, they play, a 4-mana 1/1 is what we want to see here.
So this is interesting. So I can just Burst Lightning this, even if they pump it with the Fleeting Distraction, it's only going to be a 2/2. So just Burst Lightning?
Yeah, I like that. And we can also play the Uprising this turn after attacks. Nice. Yeah, so we want to attack and pump the 3/4 Menace, because then we'll get a 4-power creature, and then Uprising draws us a card.
There we go. That's thinking. Oh. Attacked with Llanowar. Well, that's not thinking.
Yeah, that's not thinking, but that's okay.
All right.
Hopefully it doesn't punish us.
Yep. I can crack this food token at the end step as well, though. And we still have access to a good removal, so if they have some crazy, 5/6 drop.
Yeah, I would be worried about Coma here, which can't be killed by removal spells. Okay, that's annoying, but not the end of the world.
Okay. Crack this. Use our mana for something. Okay.
Land. Okay.
So, so this is what we could do. We can attack with Berserker, give it the Menace, it'll get through, and then I can do Felling Blow, second main, kill Needletooth Pack.
That looks great. Yep, I like that a lot.
And then now this will be permanently a 4 toughness thing.
Yep, and we even beat a Coma if that's what they have here, because we just get to Menace through with the Berserker.
Yep. And if we get a... Okay. Second blue. You're going to get a 1/1.
So...
I would just bite down the Elfsworn.
Yeah, I think so too. We could even... I guess if they have Runaway together, it doesn't matter too much. So yeah, let's just do that. I was going to say we could kill the 1/1, but... and Menace through, but it doesn't actually matter. If they have a bounce spell, they prevent lethal anyways that turn. And yeah, all right, there we go. 4 wins, baby.
We broke the curse.
Nice.
We got 4 wins.
All right, we're there. So I just want to stop here just as we're kind of halfway through this draft or through the games, and we've talked about some just like general. Okay, so here's kind of the way you want to lean. You play the creatures first. Let's just take all those things in for now. So, what before we go into our final few games here, um, what has kind of resonated with you? What's kind of been like, oh, that's a bit different than I would usually do. What do you have on your mind here?
Yeah, so I definitely feel myself pulling back, right? And you're pushing me forward, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing back, like,
Mm-hmm.
because of I want to, like, Garuks is a perfect example. Like, I keep wanting to play the quote unquote defensive play, which
Yeah.
is get a card out for card draw, get a universal buff, like, versus your guidance has been like, no, get creatures on the board and start dominating your position, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can almost think of it as like, have you ever read any Sun Tzu's?
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the different ways that you actually like move units and like position combat, right? And yeah, it's called the battlefield. So
Mm-hmm.
you put the creatures out there, you're establishing a position, obtaining the high ground, and maintaining like wider and higher pressure versus like going back and, like, I don't know, building homes in the village that you're trying to, to defend, right? Which is
Yeah.
like, I feel like my tendency with trying to play Garuks, for instance. And so um that's where I'm really feeling you stretching me as a player, is like putting the creatures down versus like setting up a strategy. And I keep trying to harken back to setting up a strategy versus like, no, just dominate the field, get your creatures out. And that's something that's very different and limited, is like you're establishing a battlefront essentially.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like the main reason you want to do that, like, you'll always hear people, myself included, be like, get on board, get on board, get on board. The reason you want to get on board is because it makes your combat tricks better. It makes your removal spells better. Like I mentioned in one of the previous games, if you cast your removal spells, your removal spells, what's that? If you cast your removal spells before you cast your creatures, then you miss out on the damage that your creatures could be dealing when they attack after you got the blocker out of the way, right?
Hmm.
So maybe you'll take a bit more damage before you're able to attack, because they still have a creature, they can attack you with that. But if your main game plan is to try to kill them, it's better to set up the board first and then get blockers out of the way, leveraging those creatures with your removal spells, not just being like, I'll kill your thing, I'll kill your thing, I'll kill your thing, and then I'm like, oh well, there was another thing I needed to kill and I couldn't. Instead of being like, oh, they had a bomb, I couldn't kill it, you might have just killed them before that even happened. So that's kind of the
Yeah.
logic behind it.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. As soon as you start seeing the 5, 6, 7 lands on the board on their side, like, things get shaky,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
That's bomb territory. That's, a
Mm-hmm.
big card that's going to shift things. We talked about Coma. Wasn't even thinking about Coma, but like, I think I've lost every game Coma has hit the board.
Yep.
So I got to be able to think about, killing them faster. So having a little bit more of an aggressive mindset. And I think I even made the comment at one point. I was like, "There's no way he doesn't have like a combat trick or a removal right now, because that comes from constructed. Like, if you have
Mm-hmm.
5 cards, 6 cards in hand, there's like, you have removal, you have counterspell, like you have something."
Yep.
Um, but that's not the case in limited. Like, they may never have seen it. It's not. It might not even be in their deck. So that's all very different mindset shift.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's try to get a few more wins. Like we talked about in a previous episode, how 4 wins is kind of where you want to be as far as the economy goes and leveling up and that. So we're good on that front, but it's always nice to win more. So
Yeah. Maybe even get a trophy.
yeah, exactly.
Let's just win out. Yeah, I like this.
Awesome. On the play, 2, 3, 4 removal spell. Like this is like a dream hand here.
Yep. 2, 3, 4. We like it. Get right into scavenging news. We got a little bit of control with a braid.
Oh, does that change things? Huh.
I think it does, because I would weigh scavenging ooze as more important. So if they waste a removal on Ruby, not as upset as scavenging ooze. Plus, Ruby also puts mana on the board
Mm-hmm.
for getting a 4-drop faster.
Yep, I totally agree. And yeah, like we kind of said in a previous game, ooze is better once the dust is settled. Right
Yep.
now, it's just a 2/2.
And we need some stuff in the graveyard. Yep.
There we
There we
go.
go.
Yep.
And now we have something for ooze.
Nice.
So now the question is, ooze or ranger?
I think just ranger. That's it pressures about as well as the ooze. Actually, probably a little bit better because trample and growing. And it looks like they might have another stab potentially too. Or at least
Potentially.
they have a single mana something something.
Hmm. Do I remove this to get pressure? This is where I'm torn between my defensive self and the offensive self.
Yeah, I think we
Um,
should probably. I think that with if we didn't have the Abrade in hand, I would say, you know, you don't want to use your last removal spell. I think with the Abrade in hand, I would just use one of these removal spells. Now, it's worth considering which one do we want to use. Do we want to bite down or do we want to Abrade? Because they got pros and cons, right? Like the Abrade will, you know, doesn't need a creature to function sometime in the future, but it could or sorry, I guess let's approach this from the bite down side of things. The bite down can deal more damage. It could deal 4 in the future, but it could get blown
yep.
out in the future. A Braid's always going to deal 3, but can't get blown out. I think I would probably go for the bite down here because it's not that. It's going to be a while before we get the dragon online to be a 4/4.
Yeah.
And again, this looks like stab.
Okay. Not too worried about it because stab is only 2, so could make it so that I only take 1, but I feel like that's a waste of a combat trick. So
Yeah, definitely. I would assume they don't want to do that. All right,
okay.
play another one. That's fine.
Now the question is, do we braid this?
Don't even need to because we can just go berserker and attack past it, which is great. Good. We drew the land.
Which is perfect.
It always feels so good to kind of suss out what they have. You know, Arena is giving us a little bit of help here, but you know, there's gonna be some situations where it's like, okay, even though they have the stab, we can't, you know, we can't really do anything to play around it. We can do a pretty good job of playing around it, not tapping out when we play the ooze. That's a great way to do that. All right, that's a nice one.
Okay. Now I feel like it's the same game plan, but this time we abrade the Thespian. And then just swinging with the Beastkin Raider.
Yep, I like that.
And then I'll actually play the Mild Mannered first. Actually, can I afford to do the ooze? I could do the ooze.
But then we tap out and expose the stab, right? So we don't
Right.
wanna do that. I like your plan of just going abrade the Thespian, get in, and actually what I would do, I would go play the Librarian, give the Menace to the Berserker, because I don't think we mind if Ranger trades with the Snare Spinner. In fact, we want the Death Toucher off the table so that our ooze gets in eventually. Oh, just taking it. Okay, so that says maybe they have a bite spell in hand. I don't think they would just take it otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
There we go. They're gonna double
They have
stab.
double stab?
Double stab.
All right, all right.
Okay,
Well,
I feel fine about that.
yeah, we're pretty happy about that.
Okay, so pumping this makes it a 2 or a 3/3, and I draw a card. Or I can play ooze and pump it twice, making it a 4/4.
Honestly, I think we want to grow the Librarian because we want to hit that 5th land drop. Ooze isn't doing much in the face of a Death Toucher. Yeah, there we go.
Perfect, and it's red.
Yep, perfect.
All right, no attacks, and then we can play Dragon Trainer.
Oh, I guess I kind of, it doesn't make sense. It wasn't logical what I just said because the Snare Spinner has reach too, so it can just block, but it blocked the flyer. But in any case, I think either is fine.
Now we got a lot of Death Touch going on, so.
And Death Touch lifelink. So I think now we play the Trainer, and if they attack with the Nighthawk, we just block with the Dragon. We don't want them lifelinking, gain a bunch of life to claw back into this game.
And then crack this probably for another green.
Yep, another green. We don't have any more double red cards in the deck, so.
Okay. Hold.
Yep.
What's the chance they have another stab?
They could, or a fight spell. Yeah, looks like they have another fight spell.
They've gotten 3, so. Okay, pump it.
Oh, just no attacks. Okay, that's fine too. Okay.
Okay.
So, do we maybe want to do something funky with this raptor? Like, we could attack with the trainer, they block, and then we put some counters on, like, the librarian, let's say? That looks pretty good.
Yeah, so let's...
So we don't... Let's not play it first, because Morbid will trigger no matter what. It doesn't have to see it, right? So, let's, yeah, undo, Control Z or whatever, and then just attack with the trainer and see what they do.
The 1/1?
Yep.
Yep.
They'll gain a little bit of life because they probably block with the Nighthawk, but I think I'm happy to upgrade my 3/3 into a 5/5. No, didn't even gain life. Great. Yep.
Cool.
So we just play that, and could play the ooze here. That's sort of interesting. It exposes it to another stab, but like 4 stabs is fairly unlikely, and we could set up a lethal attack next turn. So I think, yeah, let's just play the ooze here.
All right. I mean, it could pull out like any other removal, but
Yeah, that's true. But then in that case, then we'll be happy to play the ooze, because then it's one more creature that can attack around them.
and you're saying make this a 5/5?
Yep, I like that.
Okay.
All right, so they've got 2 spells in hand because they missed a land drop or 2. Let's see what they do with their mana. They might just grow the ooze twice, or say the Nighthawk twice. I can see that happening.
Yeah, that could happen.
If that's the case, though, they lose because we just have lethal on board. So I think they probably have something else too. Maybe a bite spell. Macabre Waltz.
They don't have enough to play any of those, though.
I think that's lethal then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I'll just pump this to...
Well, again, let's just attack first. Ooze can be used after.
Yep, there's a lot of creatures in there.
Yeah.
I see you in I see you in my graveyard.
I guess Giant Growth would save them, potentially, right? Because they would gain 6, go to 10. Yeah, Giant Growth puts them to 1. Okay. So Ooze is going to die no matter what, but we should grow it to 5 power, at least.
Yep. Lots of decisions being made here. Okay.
Okay, so as is, they still lose. So we should have them act first, right? Because they go to 7, take 8. So just let them go first. Nope.
Should I pump
Nope.
this?
Nope. We have lethal if nothing happens. So just say next. Same deal. We still have lethal. So yeah, we just say that's fine. Yeah, you might as well. There's no reason not to, I suppose. Gain a little bit of life here. All right, there we go. Nice.
Okay, I was like, what? All right, what's going on?
so let me explain that a little bit there. So I always go, if we just continue, if we pass priority in a combat like this, like they lose, so they have to act first, right? We had 8 unblocked damage going through. They gained 3 going to 7. They would just die, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need. It's kind of along the same lines of like not activating ooze before you need to, not casting a flash creature on your turn. They have to act first. They have to blink first. We'd rather see what they do first, and then we can respond.
Yeah, that was very much you're the commander there going, hold.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Like, don't blink.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm ready to blink. I'm blinking.
All right, nice win there. Yeah, it was a good win. 5 wins.
5 wins. All right, let's keep cruising. So 5 wins is officially infinite. So we made our money back. We love that. 1,600 gems. Maybe we'll go play the try to win a box this weekend.
Oh, Bloomburrow? Yeah, that's always fun.
Yep. I don't think I've ever done one of the box events yet. So
they're pretty sweet. Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
All right. Need to get a third, but if we get a third land, well, actually, no, we have Daring, so that's third. So that allows us to go right into Beastkin. as well.
Yep.
So
Looks great.
I feel good keeping.
On the play doesn't hurt as well.
Okay, keep a burst lightning up just in case they have some crazy one drop, but I don't think there really is.
Nice.
All right, perfect. In stab range.
Yeah. All right, no stab.
All right, no stab, no stab. That means we get a turn 3. Oh, we got a turn 3 anyways. We got our 3rd land, so. Pilfer.
What do you take?
Taking?
Yeah, maybe the trainer or the uprising.
Or my 3-drop.
I can see them taking anything here. Like,
yeah,
Ranger disrupts the curve.
Equal.
Sorry, go ahead.
Disrupt the curve. That's exactly what I was saying.
And that actually is more of a constructed thing, right? Disrupting the curve with a high-end disruption spell. Generally, in limited, you just want to take the most powerful thing. But, sometimes that's not true. Sometimes you'll go for the disrupting the curve play. But in constructed, where all your cards are really powerful, it doesn't matter as much. Okay, now we just go uprising. But in limited, you do go, well, what's the best card they have a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's always great to do in constructed. Like, take their 3-drop and then they don't have anything until their 5 or 6 drop. You're like, oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. All right, so we get trainer, draw a card.
I'm not gonna attack. I'm just gonna go ahead and play trainer. Get to draw a card. Got another land. So we need that.
Now we'll draw a 6-drop here, and we'll be happy we have a land.
Yeah, grab some big boy. What do we got? Could do Needletooth or our Affectionate Indrake. Battle Song would also be good.
Okay.
So this might actually be a target for a fully pumped up Burst Lightning.
Yeah, we should probably just do that right here, right now. And attacking with Ruby or not is actually kind of interesting, because if we attack with Ruby and they block, they then have a 4-power creature that they can use a bite spell to kill the 4/4. And it's not like Ruby can attack past the 4/3 anyways, so I actually think I would just attack with the 4/4 here.
I agree. That thing pumped up is not fun to deal with. That's one of those things I'm like, all right, hit me for 2 every time. I don't care. I'm not killing.
Yeah, exactly. All right. The Toucher, Thespian. Okay. So we should play the Thespian first to just inform what's coming next. What kind of spell we see that might change what we do on this attack. Nope.
Getting rid of that. Don't need that. Swing with that would get rid of the Treetop Center Spinner.
Yeah, I think it's probably worth doing that, because if they untap, they can make it a 2/5, and then we just can't attack in anyways. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. Get rid of that before it got out of control. I'm fine with that.
And I think we do play our land now, because we've got Garrick's Uprising in play, so we could draw like a big creature into a big creature.
Yeah. Or another land.
Burglar Rat. All right, fine.
Fine.
No big deal.
Take my land.
All right, another time.
Called it.
Yep. Just play it. We can just play that here.
Okay.
Just chill.
Just hold.
Yep. Okay, double green.
Lands. All right.
Needletooth.
Got a Needletooth.
Yeah, and like we said, we just take this.
We take.
Bushwhack.
Okay. Now, that's not enough to do anything.
Nope, we just hold it.
Yep. And turn. I don't know if I even have anything that does is 5 power.
No, but we have ways to pump our creatures, so there's we could set something up.
Just take.
Yeah, I don't think we want to triple block here. Seems kind of bad. All right, yeah. Things are getting out of hand. And we draw land, fortunately. So now are we priced into killing something? Like, we could sacrifice our wary thespian essentially to kill this giant. I think that's probably what we have to do. We use a card, right, to like sack it, but then if we could just trade with it on combat, but then they get a morbid trigger. So I think we just thespian, fight the elf or the giant. Sorry.
Pushback.
Yep.
Go ahead and
We
get
get a
rid of
surveil
that.
out of it. Nope. All right.
I told you, man. I told you, lands love me.
We'll draw that big creature next turn. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure of it. You feel it. Feel it in your bones.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, take 6. Okay, that's not nothing, but it's not great.
Right.
So what do we do about that? If we use it to like kill a 1/1, which is what we would do because we're not gonna target the 2/1. I guess we could go Ruby, kill the rat, and then Ruby now blocks Vessel. It's not the worst thing in the world. It might be better to hold this in case we draw a big creature, because then that could kill the pack. But the problem is, do we survive this combat if that's the case? We do if they don't have anything. I actually think it's probably the best thing to do, because we're not winning this game if we like make real, like we have to hope to get lucky. So I think what we have to do is hope they don't have anything, block the 1/1s if they happen to attack with those, hope to draw a big creature, felling blow after. So we'll just pass here.
All right. Yeah, this is tough.
Yep, just take it. Okay. We're kind of doing it. All right, so let's see how to approach this. I mean, I guess the obvious thing to do is like Indrik fight Vessel and then felling blow the pack, and then the Indrik can block the Vessel. I think that's what we have to do. I think it's the only thing.
Yep. All right. So, Indrik, fight Vessel, draw a card, take action.
Yep, and then we go land, tap Ruby, kill the 4/5. Oh, but then do we die? Ooh, we die exactly, right? Because we have to tap our creature. Yeah, there was no way to get out of this, I don't think. But yeah, now we don't have enough blockers. Oof. Yeah.
Well, if we swing with this,
then we can't cast the blow, right?
true.
Yeah, I think it's just not enough. Yeah, the discarding a land actually kind of came back to bite. Not that we had any choice or anything, but like them making us discard a land with the Brat actually kind of mattered here. I don't think there's a way out. So now that there's no way out of this from our perspective, I go, is there a way out of it that they could like buy? We might have something. The only way to do that is just pass the turn and hope they don't attack with everything. I doubt that's going to happen, but that's our out.
Yeah, I hope they don't.
Like, hope they just attack with the pack, you know? Okay, they didn't. All right, worth a try.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well.
Yeah, super close. Almost mounted to come back there. But good run overall, right? Like, you know, it's a little disappointing in the moment, but 5-3 is a good run. And yeah, I think for the most part we played pretty well. There was one game in there, like I said, that I will take the credit for not preemptively being like, oh, they could have a board wipe. But I think overall we played pretty well. What's your thoughts on everything that's happened in this draft?
So I definitely think this, I'm glad we talked about it beforehand of like, where do you think my weakness is? And we both came to the conclusion it's in how you play limited. Drafting, I think I'm pretty good. I know, yeah, strong card. Okay, we're trying to build a synergy. Let's put those together. Okay, cool. Maybe a little bit of like, hey, you maybe value this card a little bit more than I valued this card. But that's, I think, just a little bit of just personality kind of coming through.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's, I think, pretty good. Now, when we move over into the gameplay, though, just completely different. I felt, I don't know who has ever tried to like learn an instrument, but But they say when you're learning an instrument, the moment you get frustrated because like your hand's not doing what your hand wants to do, or like you're trying to hit a chord or something like that, and that's actually the new neurons connecting, right?
Yeah.
That's when, the magic is actually happening. And I felt that at least a half dozen times during this. I'm like, wait,
Good.
wait, why are we doing this? Why? Like I was getting, like I could feel the neurons connecting. I was like, okay, this is really stretching how I play and
Mhm.
like how I think about the combat. And so overall, I think we've honed in. The problem is gameplay, right? How do you think about limited gameplay? And for me, it's getting out of that defensive. It's dominating the board state, getting on there, applying pressure, getting the damage in, and stop trying to like build this defensive strategy or like try to build this wall that they can't penetrate. Right? Like it's more like getting the creatures down. It's building the board state and dominating the board state, and playing more aggressive. And I definitely felt it. I felt myself stretching as a player and as a person
Good, yeah.
throughout this coaching session.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say about that is that Foundations is more towards the direction of just get on board, just attack, than some other sets. In some more complex sets, Duskmorn, there's more varied strategies. You can play a control game, you can play like a 5-color strategy. So it's not always going to be like that, but I also think that it's a really good default to have. Like,
Mhm.
I tend to, the way I think about it is, unless my deck is doing something exceptionally powerful, exceptionally combo based, like all these moving pieces, my default should just be, let's try to end the game. Let's try to get on board. Let's not set up these Rube Goldberg machines of like this enchantment and this creature. And I'm gonna do, like you said, is kind of where your head's at right now. It is, I think, Foundations in a lot of ways a good training ground for that kind of stuff. So you're gonna have to, of course, format the format, kind of be like, okay, a little bit less of that, a little bit more of that. But I think that generally this is gonna prepare you pretty well for most formats.
No, this has been great. Like I really only started drafting in Bloomborough, and I think I got a little spoiled there because it was really easy, right? I think I mentioned this before. I'm like, if you want to just go rats, go squirrels, go bunnies, like go birds. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty easy, and you would
Mm-hmm.
build a relatively cohesive deck. And then Duskmorn was fun just because there was all this crazy strategy stuff that you could do. It felt a little bit more like constructed. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm doing a Delirium deck, or I'm doing a Manifest Dread deck. Okay, how can I build as many synergies around a Manifest Dread or this crazy room deck or whatever? So it's like felt more like building a constructed deck, and you played it a little bit more like a constructed deck. This format is like, okay, this feels, for the title kind of gives it away. It feels more foundational,
Yeah, for
right? So
sure.
like how do I play foundational limited? And it's building the board state. It's, relying on your creatures to be aggressive. Now there is some different things that you can do, but those are really hard build arounds, and build arounds are hard to do in draft in general.
Mm-hmm.
So they're few and far between that you're going to run into a combo deck or like a super control deck, other than maybe if they jammed a bunch of removal,
Yeah.
went white black and just 12 removal spells.
Yeah,
But
no, exactly.
uh,
It happens. It
uh,
happens.
yeah, and that can happen, but for the most part, it's foundational magic. I'm gonna keep using the term, but uh, yeah, it's just core magic play and
Mm-hmm.
core magic strategy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's exactly it. We did a lot of just back and forth during the actual games we played of like, here's some takeaways. So I don't think we have to hammer too much of those home. But just in a meta sense here, we said at the beginning of this, we were doing this for 4 weeks. Brian and I have talked about, maybe extending this to, we'll do some other videos in the future. But as of right now, this is going to be the last of our videos for this coaching session series. So, Brian, any just like, words to leave the people with? Anything you want to share, or you can promote the channel. I didn't do that at the beginning here, but once again, Brian does have his own channel, his Twitch and YouTube channel. I always post those in the link in the description, so go check those out if you want to see Brian's journey through Limited or Brian's journey through Constructed. Like Brian said, he's more of a Constructed player, so if you want to check out some tips from him in Constructed, that's probably where I'd point you towards. But anything else besides that?
Yeah, that's the big thing. I've declared this past summer of 2024. I'm trying to qualify for the Pro Tour in the next 5 years. So you're gonna see a ton of Magic content on my YouTube channel. I do vlogs. I actually just posted my first full RCQ playthrough out on my channel, so you can
Nice.
actually see the tournament play that's happening in person. And then, of course, drafting is a big part of that skill set. So I'm going to continue to do my bronze to mythic runs, maybe runs. But definitely, if you've made it this far in the video, you might as well like, subscribe, leave a comment below on limited level
There
ups.
we
And then,
go.
if you're always so kind, feel free to swing over and say hi on my channel. I do stream about 5 days a week, usually starting around 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern time. And go for 3 or 4 hours, usually doing drafts, or I'll do some constructed playthroughs. I think I'm one match win away from Mythic in constructed right now. So it's a fun journey over there. And I'm welcoming everybody to come hang out with me, watch me take a bunch of bumps and bruises, and learn to be a pro player in Magic.
Awesome. Yeah, no, go check that out. And I'll just say from my perspective, seems like the people in the comments really like this series. So I'm definitely looking to do some more coaching. I actually have another person lined up for this for the future. So people in the comments and watching this video, if you're looking for more of this kind of content, don't worry, it is coming. And I'll say, Brian, thank you so much for reaching out and just prompted me to start doing this because it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I like I said, I hope we do something in the future that's adjacent to this.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Great.